What is going on, YouTube? Luke here with Clean Automotive Detailing. As you can see, I am wearing glasses and a t-shirt. It is beautiful here. Today, we're restoring headlights. The headlights in question are off my wife's Honda CR-V, and they need some serious work. They got some pretty bad degradation up here, and it's kind of gone beyond just being hazy. So we've got some serious sanding to do, and we're gonna walk you through the whole process. Stick around. So I don't have the right sandpaper, so we gotta run up to AutoZone. I still feel really weird talking to my phone in public, but yeah, we're doing this. This is such a dangerous place for me. So at the auto parts stores, these are what you're gonna see. And if you don't already have a plastic polish, those work great. But if you do, I'd suggest going with something like this. These are the grits you want, 1,000, 2,500, and 3,000. Plus you dip your rims, bro. Light bar, bro. It's just so damn hard to just buy one thing here. I can't help it. Money. Now, to elaborate a little bit on what I said in there, the headlight restoration kits are really great for the weekend warriors. But if you're really doing this as a business, I would say just go ahead and buy the sheets of sandpaper, buy a designated plastic polish, and buy a UV protectant. And you can get those as a spray that you spray on, kind of like a spray paint, or you can just use a wax with a good UV protectant on it. And the UV protectant is important because that's what causes headlights to wear out in the first place, right? The sun's UV rays are what degrades that plastic over time. So if you can afford to buy those elements individually, it's just much better practically. You know, you can spend $60 on the sandpaper, the plastic polish, and the UV protectant, and do 20 headlights instead of spend $25 for the headlight kit and maybe do 1 or 2. So, detail tip. The only other note that I'll make is a lot of these headlight restoration kits come with attachments that you can put on your drill, and I would be wary about those because if you are not careful, you can actually burn through the plastic on your headlight. So if you are using a drill, just tread lightly. So to get started, you're going to need your sandpaper, and depending on how bad the headlight is, you're going to need different grits of sandpaper. As a general rule of thumb, you always want to start with the least aggressive sandpaper that you think you might need. So for this one, even though it is starting to slough a little bit, I'm going to start with 2,000, and if we hit it and we decide that we need to go deeper, we'll go all the way down to 1,500 or 1,000. I've seen people go all the way down to 800 before for really, really bad headlights. So I'm going to start with 2,000, I'll work my way up to 2,500, and then finish it off with a 3,000 before polishing. You are going to need tape. I've got 2 different thicknesses here. Now you can cover it in paper if you're worried about getting excess on the car. I'm going to clean the car afterwards, so I'm not that worried about it. And of course, the other thing you can do is remove the headlight altogether. But most of us, if we're mobile, aren't going to have the tools or the time to do that. So we're just going to simulate being out at a job. You're also going to need a quick detailing spray or soapy water. You'll need a plastic polish, and this is the one product I actually would use a drill on. It can be done by hand, but it just takes a lot more time. Here's my drill, here's my polishing pad. And the last thing you're going to need is a wax or UV sealant. And this is probably the most important part, because if you don't do this or spray it with UV protectant, you're going to be doing this every 6 months. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it off and we will get started. Okay, we are all taped up. I'm going to take my detailing spray and I'm going to start with 2,000, and I'm going to be going in a horizontal motion to begin with, and there's a reason for that. We want to do a horizontal or vertical, whatever you want, for the first pass, and then the second pass you want to do the opposite, right? You want to go perpendicular to it so that you can see where your sanding marks are. And you want to make sure that you get rid of all the 2,000 or beginning grit. So I'm going to start horizontal. Roll time lapse. Okay, so we have some pretty uniform lines going on here. You can't see any clear up underneath. There's a couple spots in here that might be affected on the inside, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So, and remember that that first step is the cutting process, and all the steps subsequent to that are just removing the sanding marks that you've put in. So we started with the 2000. That's where we cut that bad layer out, right? We got rid of that, and now we're just going back and making those scratches smaller and smaller and smaller until we polish it off. I'm going to go ahead and move to 2500, and we're going to sand in a perpendicular fashion, and we're going to come back in a minute and see where we're at. Okay. Okay, so all our lines are going in the right direction, so we're going to move up to 3000. All right, so now it's dry, and we see that we've got a very clean, uniform surface. All the scratches are going in the same direction, and this is really where you kind of start to see the clarity a little bit. Maybe clarity is not the right word, but you do see where the degradation is gone. It was in a few spots, kind of here and there is where it was real bad. So we've got it completely leveled down, and what I'm going to do now is take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, which I will put in the description. I didn't say that in the beginning, but I'll put it in the description. Take a little bit of IPA, and I'm going to rub the whole thing down just to get rid of any loose grit that might be in there from the sandpaper. It'll also get rid of any soap or detailing spray that I've used and give us a clean surface to polish on. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll get the polisher set up, get the polish on, and get polishing.
Let's do this.
And there we go. We got a clean, shiny, fresh looking surface. Now we're just going to put on a coat of wax to protect it. Here we go. And we got a beautifully restored and protected headlight. So for about 60 bucks, you can build your own headlight restoration kit. And like I said, the amount of sandpaper and polish that you can get will probably get you 10 to 20 headlight restorations. So if you're thinking about implementing this as kind of an extra service, absolutely 100% do it. And what did it take? 30 minutes? So no brainer. Now you need to remember that if you're doing this with wax instead of a UV spray, you have to stay on top of waxing it. This is a UV protectant, but just like wax on your car, it's only going to stay on there for a couple months. So you have to be persistent about keeping wax on the headlight. If you don't, the sun's going to wear it down in about a year, and you're going to be here doing it again. If I were you, I would just go ahead and get one of the UV sprays. It comes in a spray can. It's just like spray paint. That's what I'm going to do with these when I'm done, but for the meantime, I'm just using wax. I hope you guys liked that video. If you have any questions, email me at lukeelston@me.com and leave a comment for what I should tackle next. Please like and subscribe if you like videos like this, and I will see you next week.